Hi, how you going? Dave Geary, MMJ.
Daniel Hastings here, and welcome to our December blog, or Christmas blog if you like, for 2019. As was traditionally the case at this Christmas time of year, we've got to have the Statsman show his wares. David, what do you got for us today?
Okay guys, I'll just give you some interesting stats about the average median prices in Wollongong, and this is a regional statistic. So houses are at 885,000 and units are 601,500.
Okay.
Now the good thing about that is that it actually hasn't changed as much as people think it does. But early in January, they were down around the same numbers. They all increased, so houses and units increased. On an average 15,000 was the average median price that went up, but it's come back to where we are now. So 885 for housing, 601, 500 for the units. And the rental, for an interesting status as well, is that houses are needing about 500 a week and units are $400 a week. And the funny statistic as well that came out from, I think it was CoreLogic actually, that said that Sydney prices and Melbourne prices have dropped about a 9.5% average, which was an interesting stat, but it was actually in selected areas, and the unit market up in Sydney and in Melbourne had been affected a lot more.
Okay.
All right.
Probably a positive too is that we're still very low on our vacancies compared to Sydney and so forth too. REI stats are still very favourable in that regard for our region, so I think that's really solid for our investment angles going forward as well.
It is. Now you've got an interesting article that came out on the 8th of December.
8th of December. I just did a quick editorial for the Illawarra Mercury in the real estate domain section, and it was really just observations on the market. I guess the areas that we mainly touched on, and I thought it would be relevant to just highlight here as well. From a buying perspective, I guess it's been well documented by us and others that buyers should be confident at the moment. I think it's still in their favour a little bit more, in fairness. You're going to have less competition, less demand, so from that point of view, you can afford to be in a position where you feel more confident than what you did perhaps in previous years.
Excellent.
And obviously with that, prices have reflected as well, and we've just touched on that with the changes in recent times. So should be feeling good about that, and perhaps backing yourself up particularly for the new year, where traditionally there's some stock that comes into the market too. So from that point of view, gear yourself up, ready to go. Speaking of gearing yourself up though, and we have touched on this before, but can't emphasise enough, because we're just seeing more and more occasions where this is the case. You've got to get yourself organised with your finances. It's a really big issue at the moment. Dave and I are certainly coming across people that are making presumptions that they're ready to go. Perhaps they've had pre-approvals in the past and they're just presuming that they're going to get that again. And the fact of the matter is, guys, that the goalposts have been moved, and you really have to be making sure that you're speaking to your broker, you're speaking to your bank to make sure that you can get that organised. Be aware too, it'll take longer to get your pre-approvals or your formal approvals, so you have to be sure to get that organised. And I think we've spoken about before too, there's a lot more scrutiny in your own spending patterns and things like that as well. So make sure that you're giving yourself some time so that you can make sure that you're organised, get the right advice from your financial people in order to get organised there as well.
Excellent.
What about from a sales point of view? I spoke about some things in relation from a seller's perspective as well. What should they be organising at the moment, Dave?
The seller? Well, the sellers at the moment should be organising themselves when they're getting their house on the market. Maybe organising building your pets has been very, very handy these days.
Yep.
We're finding that people are also getting a bit more critical on the homes, and making a decision for them is a lot easier and quicker if they've got a building and pest report available if it's on a house, or a strata inspection report on an apartment or a strata unit as well. So that makes a massive difference. Also, choose the right agent and marketing correctly.
Us, namely.
But also there's a good thing. We're coming into Christmas, as we know, and this time of year, everyone's got a little bit more time to look online and look at real estate as well. So it's an ideal time there'll be a fair bit of stock coming on because of that as well. So I think in the beginning of the year, I actually think that the market will have a little kick in the beginning of the year. It'll be a good time to maybe sell and also to buy as well.
Traditionally, it's a good time, isn't it?
It is. And I do think that we've had our big change. We already have.
Yep.
So it has actually levelled out, and I just think it's going to probably from now on, if you find the right house or the right unit or the right block of land, buy it.
Yeah. I think from a selling point of view too, obviously pricing, you've got to allow for that change that's happened from a pricing perspective, but I don't think I can emphasise enough, you've got to get your campaign right. Perhaps you've got to make sure you cover all the bases from a media perspective, some print media, some strong online presence. Maybe you've got to get some styling advice. Perhaps that involves hiring of furniture, etc. too. I really think you've got to make sure you avoid the what if questions as much as you can.
Yeah, in today's market.
And in today's market especially.
Yeah, it is. And I think that could be a wrap. Coming into Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you for your support during 2018. We're really excited about 2019. Hopefully we'll catch up with you soon.
Talk soon.